Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind the scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Cast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I am joined I'm joined by my brother from another mother, a man who I actually share the same birthday as, Mr. Mike Wallace, otherwise known as AKA Father Malone.
Yes, either will do.
Or is it the other way around?
Friend, I don't know. It's Father Malone usually here on the radio, quote unquote.
The internet radio. What's a podcast?
Yes,
is that
indeed.
Like internet radio? Jeez.
Did podcast kill the video star?
Podcast killed the radio star, that's for sure. Did it though?
Certainly did.
Chris and Mike in the mornings. I mean, we could still do that.
Boing.
Boing. Close the door. How do all these bats get in?
Oh my God.
Oh God, these bats. Oh. So on this episode of the Culture Cast, we're still in Jess Byard June, which means we're still talking summer camp slashers. We were going to talk Madman, but we could not find it. So we're talking something. It's also a little too similar. I watched it. It's a little too similar to The Burning. And by a little too similar, I mean they actually changed the film initially to make it so that it wasn't the same as The Burning. So instead of Madman, we're going to talk about Cheerleader Camp from 1988. A film
pretty
that is,
late. Late in the film cycle there for a fucking slasher movie.
It's a lot of things. But yeah, let's talk about Cheerleader Camp.
Every year, the finalists for the Miss Cheerleader USA contest travel to this secluded camp.
Hey, there is no going back.
For some, it will be the crowning achievement of their lives.
I'm gonna win that queen contest.
Nerves are on edge.
There's something eating at everybody, right?
Ever since we've been here, it's never a good night.
Jealousies are exposed, and hatreds explode. This year, something evil has come over the contestants.
And she shows I'm gonna kill her.
The instructors,
You're a mascot, not a human.
the judges, and the hired help.
I hope you die.
Something is about to make them all victims of Bloody Pom Poms.
Let's start with Alison. She's so fine. Don't look at her long or you'll go blind. Next is Pam. She comes out with a bam and will tell you this, she ain't no sham. Next is Bonnie. She acts kind of funny. She'll steal your but not your money. Can't forget Teresa, she's got what it takes. Putting her on this team was no mistake. Last is Corey, and this is her story. She's our gator, you'll be seeing her later.
Bloody Pom Poms. Betsy Russell, Leif Garrett, Lucinda Dickey, Laurie Griffin.
We gotta walk out of here.
It's at least 40 miles.
Finally, something to die for.
So the film is directed by John Quinn, written by David Lee Fine and R.L. O'Keefe. It stars Betsy Russell, who is better known now as Jill Tuck from the Saw franchise. It also stars Leif Garrett and Lucinda Dickey. It is a film that centers around Betsy Russell and her friends as they go to a cheerleader camp where a killer begins to strike. Man, what a setup, right? It's almost like it's completely unoriginal. Yeah. I also like to point out that the original title for this film was Bloody Pom Poms, which I would like to say would have been a better title.
I agree. It is a better title. The filmmakers agree with us on that.
Yes. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on this movie, and why did we watch it, and why is
I can sense you're blaming me for choosing this.
I'm not blaming you.
Let me hit you off right there, my friend, because we were originally going to do Mad Men, which I couldn't find. Obviously, you did if you watched it. And then you were like, well, let's do a different one, and scrolling down the list of slasher movies that take place specifically at a summer camp, they're actually few and far between. Or they've already been talked to death. And this one was available. I actually owned this movie without knowing it somehow. And I actually think my wife bought it. And I figured, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. And it has Lucinda Dickey, who is not a popular performer, but certainly is a definite 80s icon in that she starred in the Break-In films. And one of my personal awful favorites is Ninja 3, The Domination. She's the lead in that. She had a brief flirting affair with B to C grade movies. So I thought, how bad can this movie be? As it turns out, very bad.
Yeah,
like,
no,
really bad.
I do not blame you for us watching this film. Do not take what I'm saying as a pointing of the finger, a clicking of the tongue. This, I was just curious why we watched it because, oh boy, it is bad. And it's not like a spectacular failure. It's just kind of a failure.
It's kind of a failure. It seems like
in so many ways.
Some sort of there are parts of this movie that I actually do like. I thought that opening scene was great. Her weirdo dream where she's being attacked by her own pom poms, where they like come up and like swallow her at the end there. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was going to be a portent of things to come, and instead they just sort of plugged it back into the regular formula of somebody killing people at a summer camp. No, not even to the level of like Friday the 13th or anything. Just like they tried to make it more of an Agatha Christie like murder mystery where we're trying to figure out who the killer is when it was pretty obvious from the get-go who that goddamn killer was.
Okay, so am I dumb and I missed out on the fact that it was the mascot played by Lucinda Dickey? Was I supposed to pick up on that a lot earlier in the movie? Because I definitely didn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, they were, clearly they wanted us to believe that the lead character was the killer because the lead character throughout the film has these sometimes lucid, sometimes asleep dreams about everyone being murdered and her murdering them. So they wanted us to go in that direction. Then they kept giving us all these weird little clues, like the cook suddenly is wearing the necklace of a girl who has committed suicide, quote unquote. But it just seemed to me like she was the one getting stepped on from the first scene, and the camera lingered on her a little too long in some certain shots, and I was like, okay, so it's got to be her. Plus, the fact is, as dim a bulb in the firmament of Hollywood that Lucinda Dickey is, it seemed obvious that they would have cast her to play the fucking psychopath.
So yeah, I missed that. But I'll tell you what, it did work. The reveal at the end worked, and I did appreciate that. But the end of the movie, the climax of the film, is such a dud.
Oh yeah, it could have been real good, but it just sort of meanders.
Yeah, it kind of happens.
Yeah, and by meander, I mean it just sort of like limps along. Like there's no momentum at all. There's no sort of running kind of chase or, like final battle necessarily. It just kind of keeps happening.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
And then it's over.
Well, and the other thing about it is, like you said, it kind of meanders and almost kind of limps along, and you have like several what feel to be fake outs at the end too, with Leif.
Quite a few,
with Leif
yeah.
Garrett's character.
Suddenly it must be this guy. He's got to be the killer. Oh no, wait, he's dead. Okay, now it's got to be him, definitely.
Yeah, and boy, doesn't Leif Garrett? Oh man, whew, bad times for Leif Garrett recently.
Oh, is there?
Well, yeah, yes, lots of heroin and drug abuse. I hope you're kidding.
Oh my God. I have a Leif Garrett story.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. When I first moved to Los Angeles, this is like 92, I was having my car worked on, and the only place you could sort of go to sort of in that area while they were repairing the car was a Pier 1 Imports. So I figured, let me go look at the wicker. And this woman was like passing by me, and I was really close to the sort of the cash register area. And I got out of the way, and when she got out of the way, I turned to the person behind the register to say hi, and it was Leif Garrett, right?
Why?
But evidently he had just stepped out of the woman's way as well and stepped behind the counter there. But I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, Leif Garrett!" And like he lit up that somebody recognized him. And then I looked where he was and I said, "Oh my God, you don't work here, do you?" And it was just like a slide whistle, like whoop whoop. He was like, "No, I don't work here," and he just walked away. Anyway, that's my Leif Garrett story.
But let's be honest, he might work there now.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely likely. Leif Garrett was like a huge deal when I was like 9 years old. Like he was a teen heartthrob, and he would show up in TV and movies and. So, starring in this film alone seems to be a bit of a blow, but, I think he's good in it.
Well, he's not given much to do. He's just supposed to be like the kind of pseudo-scummy boyfriend. And,
yeah,
I mean, he's not really given much, let's be honest, he's not really given much to do in the way of, like...
No, but there aren't many moments where someone can really emote in the film. I guess they laid it all on to the lead actress, Betsy Russell.
Which is fine. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very good. And she's great in the Saw films for as kind of little as she's given to do in those films. It's just the casting in this film is kind of weird. Pam Weigel.
Yeah,
or Terry Weigel playing Pam.
Yeah. Wow.
Who's an actual porn star.
Yeah, she is. Uh-huh. Or was. Can she still be at this point?
Well, also...
there's a niche for everything, I suppose.
I mean, there's another... Rebecca Ferrati is also a Playboy playmate, right? There's a bunch of porn stars in this movie.
Yeah, they clearly they were casting for a specific purpose.
Well, I mean, a lot of the scenes have the characters with their tops off, so which
it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's this kind of ongoing argument of like, do you cast someone to take their top off that already does it, or do you cast like an actress to do it?
Who in a film like this is going to say no from jump?
Right. Like, why would I show my breasts in this film of all films?
Exactly.
This is not high art. This is not Keira Knightley in The Aftermath having her nipples sucked on by another actor because it's high art. This is literal, like, Z-grade schlock. So no one is going to agree to take their top off. Unless you have an actress in here who has already done it professionally.
Then it only makes sense.
Yeah, but that then becomes a problem when we talk about, like, the acting ability of said actresses.
Yeah, and mercifully, in line with everything else that's come before, they're not given a whole lot to do, so you're not necessarily judging them by their performance anyway.
No, they do very little, and there is very little for them to do other than to be a warm body to be killed. And that's, the thing about this film that is the biggest disappointment for me is the lack of interesting kills.
Yeah, it's some of the makeup is pretty good, but the methods of murder at this point in 1988, after a slew of Jason films, seems weird that they didn't bother to think that out. It's like they just wanted to make this psychological thriller and then knew that they had to have some murders in there, so they wrote it, and then, I don't know, maybe the director was trying to be tasteful or something, but this is not the film for that.
No, it's definitely not at all. And that's strange, right?
Incredibly.
Yeah. Because, there's the whole, psychological dream aspect to the film that I don't know if it really works. It feels like it's out of a different movie.
Yeah, and it's all there just to, point us in the direction of the lead character being the murderer, which is fine, but we got that from, one or two of these moments, never mind a continuing slew of them. So I don't think they ultimately work, but, some of them are pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Like the one where she's imagining Leif Garrett having sex with another girl.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden
all the mascots are there, cheering her on. Yeah, that was surreal and kind of cool.
Like a mascot bukkake all of a sudden. What is even what is happening? It's a dream sequence, so there's not really a lot of context that needs to be given. But at the same time, it's just super bizarre.
Yeah. And, you figure they should have leaned harder in that direction.
I think the film would have benefited from leaning harder in that direction.
Absolutely. But they seem to be restrained by the slasher genre. They felt like they had to have the beats of a regular slasher movie in order to get this movie made, maybe, or, But look, whoever's going to give them money was going to give them money for basically just seeing half-naked girls. So,
well, that's ultimately what this feels like.
Yeah, but once you got that money, and you just take it and run, man. Make a crazier movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It ultimately, the film at the end doesn't really feel like it lives up to the potential of ostensibly an interesting poster. The poster is pretty great.
Oh yeah, the poster's great.
The poster's great. It's got a cheerleader with a skull for a head, and she's jumping in the air, and there's all sorts of weird shit happening in the background. But it just kind of falls flat for what I was hoping to be kind of an interesting, not underrated gem, but something that something interesting and exciting. And it ends up just being this kind of, I don't know, like you said, it's like an Agatha Christie novel that just does not work. Because that's really what it feels like.
Painfully.
Yeah. And, it has some of the summer camp slasher tropes, like the unknown killer and, people wandering off into the woods by themselves. Hello, who's there? And then getting murdered. But it's not much to it.
No, man. And they there are some moments in the movie just completely out of left field. The scene where the kid is one of the characters, Timmy is his name, the stereotypical fat kid that you have to have at the summer camp. He's got a video camera that he's documenting everything, which is pretty new in 1988. And, there's a whole voyeur scene where he's peeping on these girls and for some reason dressed like a woman so he can fit in. I don't know, man. I was just what's happening with this movie?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. I didn't understand the character of Timmy at all because it seemed like he was supposed to be possibly mentally retarded, and instead he's just the fat kid for the fat jokes.
Yeah, I got to get those fat jokes in.
But there aren't any other than his ass getting stuck in the car.
Yeah,
window.
That's a pretty big one, though. Ba-dum-bum.
Isn't it? And, there's so many weird scenes that just... Yeah, ultimately, it's not really that bad. It just feels like more missed potential than anything else. Right? At least for me. It just feels like a lot of missed potential.
Yeah. It seems like it had the bones to be a really good slasher movie. And, again, this is 1988, so... The slasher genre is effectively over at this point.
And it doesn't feel like 1988. Let's talk about that for a second. This film feels like it was made in 82.
Right. That in of itself is the problem, because...
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
They had those 6 years of seeing everything that was out there and deciding whether or not to do something better. And they didn't. You know, there is another slasher movie around this time, not summer camp related necessarily, although it does kind of take place at a camp, it seems, or, you know, a retreat by a lake. Have you seen April Fool's Day?
I have not.
See, now that was one where they kind of like took a look around at what the genre was and decided to do a parody of it, but like as a straight horror movie. And that one's real interesting. That's a kind of a forgotten one. It actually has, what's his name? Biff. Thomas Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
Yeah, he's real good in it. There's actually a lot of good actors in that one, including Deborah Foreman from Valley Girl and My Chauffeur. But so it's possible at this point to have a comment on the genre while still sort of playing in the sandbox that you kind of have to. And this one felt like it could have gone even further than the other one. Like they had the potential.
Let's put this into context. Friday the 13th, The New Blood, so it's part 7, came out less than a month before this film.
Right. And what were they doing in that one? Jason versus Carrie, basically.
Right. I've never seen it, but that sounds correct.
Yeah,
I've never seen
that's
any.
what it is. Like you got a psychic girl.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the Friday the 13th movies, but that's a different story.
Oh, you're the perfect person to be reviewing slasher movies set in summer camps.
Well, considering how Friday the 13th moves away from the summer camps after what? The 4th one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's after the first one, honestly, because
but you know what I mean. Like
kind of
everyone always says Friday the 13th is like a summer camp slasher movie, like the first one is.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I know that much. Like, I've seen Camp Crystal Lake Memories. Like, the summer camp slashers were a thing that existed outside of Friday the 13th, because Friday the 13th stopped being about the setting and started being about Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. Part 6 brought it back to the summer camp. There are actual campers, and it takes place at Camp Crystal Lake. So 1 and 6, I think every other one does not take place at the camp other than maybe the new remake. But even then, it's not a summer camp. It's the remains of what had once been a summer camp.
Like, I've seen enough summer camp slashers to know that, like you said, this comes so late in kind of the onslaught of summer camp slasher films that was like the mid 80s that it feels like if you're not going to do anything interesting, why are we doing this at all?
Right. Other than we can get the money to make a movie because, you know, there are investors out there who'll do it. Evidently, the major investor was a corporation from Japan for this film. And if you remember, there's a point where Timmy, our fat voyeur, like sneaks up on the woman who runs the camp is having an affair with the local cop. And as he's sneaking through the woods, you know, he's trying to be like a ninja and he has an armband on. And he wore the armband upside down because nobody, you know, spoke Japanese on the crew.
Right.
And it was apparently like a huge bone of contention with their producers. Like once they saw it, they had to like apologize and, you know, bow and curtsy to them for that. Interesting little side note.
That's stunning. But again, I think it just goes back to the main problem of this movie. That is, whoever made this movie, whoever produced this movie, was producing it for very specific reasons, and those reasons are very clear. And they are not... Yeah, exactly. And they're not... That is not a sustainable way to make a film. It's just not.
No, it seems that there are maybe other genres to pursue.
Like ones where boobs are what is expected. And possibly some of the people from this film are already doing it anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
as opposed to trying to, throw up a thinly created plot around the... Yeah, it's a frustrating movie because I feel like there is a good movie in here somewhere. There's an interesting movie in here somewhere. It just, instead of leaning harder into Betsy Russell's character, they just completely lose sight of what was making the movie interesting about 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, it spends so much time on the red herrings that it doesn't
every
really
character.
give us... Every single character, like, there is given the motive and given a moment and given a possibility of that they had just done it, but ultimately just not worth our time.
Yeah, I mean, look at a film like Scream, where I just watched it like last week. For the first time in probably a year. And there are multiple scenes in that film where they are trying to convince you that one character is the killer.
Yeah.
And it works so well because it's so subtle. They'll have the shot of the sheriff putting out a cigarette with a boot that you see in the bathroom earlier in the film.
Right.
And stuff like that where it's like subtly done. And I know Kevin Williamson is a better writer than David Lee Fine and R.L. O'Keefe are. I mean, we're not debating that, but it's a little strange to me that they go out of their way to do all these red herrings when, like you said, you picked up on who it was immediately.
Yeah, that's, I don't know that they would have known that everyone would figure out that it's Lucinda Dickey or anything, but at the same time, why are we spending so much time with so many characters potentially being it? Like, focus on one or two and have them... exhibit all the behavior or something. Another thing about that I noticed, and when they're giving you a red herring, because not only have they done something sort of suspicious, but the camera lingers on them for way too long. Like, it's a problem throughout the entire film, the pacing and editing of the movie. Like, shots go on for way too long in almost every capacity, but particularly when they're trying to, like, convince us that this person is the murderer. And again, like, I don't know, could have been a good movie, but
Yeah, it could have been.
It was the guy's first film, like, so I gotta give him that. And ultimately, they got this movie made, so kudos. But not the most skillful of direction.
No, and not the most interesting of a script either.
No,
I mean, I think there are 4 or 5 red herrings in the movie,
at least.
Right? There's the sheriff. There's Brent. There's Lucinda Dickey, who ends up being the killer. There's the handyman. There's the cook for a little bit. Like, Jesus H. Christ, like.
And not to mention the cheerleaders themselves. Like, everyone on their team is, like, talking about murdering each other to get the crown.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
we're supposed to believe it can be any of these, but specifically, it's probably the lead character because she has crazy dreams.
And we all know that crazy people with crazy dreams are the ones who do crazy things.
They must. I mean, look, I like it. At the end, I like that she got framed for all the murders. Like, I thought that was kind of cool. And then the other girl is, like, immediately in the cheerleader outfit. But
I like the thing at the end where it's like it's like having her say her name where she's supposed to be, like, Betsy Russell is saying her name where Lucinda Dickey is supposed to be cheering her own name. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
There are moments of good in this film. I don't know that it's necessarily worth a watch from beginning to end. Like, I'm not suggesting anyone seek the movie out, but if it came on TV, like, worse ways you can spend an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, I won't disagree with that.
I have to mention one moment in the film.
Is it going to be the thing with the mascots eating?
No, that's funny, though.
Because that was my favorite scene, without a doubt.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when they're all trying to eat their food with the masks on?
It's super weird. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, it's really good. Then the girl takes her hat off and they're like, put that head back on. You are not a human. You're a mascot. There's something to be mined in there, too, like the low-level treatment of mascots. This could have been a character piece about the mascot girl and the lead girl and, like, dispensed with all the other fucking red herring bullshit. Like, which one of these is the killer? Because they both have motive. No, my favorite scene in the movie is a hallmark of mid to late 80s film where hip-hop was still known as rap. That's all you ever called it, and white people were doing it in the same exact way in every capacity. Hey, we're here at summer camp. Da 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 da. Like, that's every white person rap in the 1980s, except for the Beastie Boys.
It reminds me of that scene from Teen Witch. Do you know what I'm talking about? So top that. Yeah, so top that. That's what it reminded me of. It's like, oh.
Yeah, man.
God, this is so...
I'll give... You know what? Teen Witch is probably around the same time. I'll give Teen Witch a little bit of credit because they at least, like, were moving beyond the sort of 8-bar structure that white people had thought all rap was.
Would you say that this film topped that? If you don't know what we're talking about, please go and educate yourself on.
Oh yeah, watch Teen Witch.
Well, I don't know about watch the whole movie.
Definitely watch that whole movie.
At least if you're gonna, if you can't commit to watching the whole film, at least watch the top that scene from Teen Witch. It is.
Don't listen to this man. Watch the whole movie and then revel in the moment halfway through where two kids out of nowhere begin rapping.
And one of them sounds like they're deaf. He's having a hard time speaking. It is a thoroughly bizarre movie with one of the cringiest, bizarrest scenes I've ever seen in a film where they're trying to sing along to the rap music. And it's like, oh, Jesus, no.
You know, that's Robert Blake's son.
Yeah, I do. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
What a good movie.
So what would you give this film, Cheerleader Camp, out of 5?
Oof. You know, I want to say 2.5. I'm going to say 2.5. I'm going to say 2 just because they made the effort and it doesn't completely fall apart. I'll give him a 0.5 point more, specifically for the shot in the opening dream sequence where she gets consumed by the pom poms. I thought that was weird and fun.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 2. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to like. There was a lot of stuff that they could have done better. I felt like they fell really short of the mark in a lot of it. But there are some parts that are fun enough.
Yeah. You know, I watched this film with commentary, and these guys thought they made a really good movie. And not only that, but they displayed all of the creepy behavior that you expected from filmmakers like this. You know, when we said, they just wanted to make a movie with boobs, it's kind of true. Like, the way they're talking over the scenes where, the girls are taking their tops off is kind of leering and gross.
So, to be what is expected from 80s film directors.
Yeah, basically.
Great. Newsflash. Just because you get to see boobies in real life doesn't mean they want you to let you touch them or have anything to do with them. That is how that works. Everybody. Yeah, just a heads up, all you budding Harvey Weinsteins of the world. Just because you get to see boobies does not mean you get to touch them. As they say at the strip club, look but do not touch. Ah, jeez. So we will take a break and play a preview for the next Culture Cast.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every therapy they can think of. It's wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
The mindless, murderous fury that was buried with Jason has been reborn. And suddenly, terror has become child's play. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
On the next Culture Cast, we are going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 5. As you will remember, as I just mentioned, I haven't really seen any of the Friday the 13th movies, but, you know, the deep end is a good spot to throw yourself into. Jess Byard will be joining me, the titular Jess Byard, whose name inspired the month because she picked the theme. So her and I will be talking about Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Father Malone, is this a good one? Bad one?
It's awful.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, I would put it up as like the worst of them, honestly. Well, I mean, look, everything after part 6 got progressively worse. I will say the makeup job done in part 7, which is Jason versus the psychic girl, that one, the makeup is amazing, but it was the movie was directed by John Carl Buechler, who was a makeup effects guy. So like there is a kind of saving grace to that film, but anything after that, when Jason took Manhattan or went to hell or went into space, is all garbage. Of the sort of up to 1 through 6, 5 is the worst one of them. This is, I won't spoil anything for you, but I will say this, as a fellow fan of Return of the Living Dead, you not only get Spider in this film, but you also get Suicide.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that is kind of a redeeming thing. You also, if anyone, I'm so old, there was a show called Different Strokes in the early 1980s, and there was a best friend character named Dudley, and that kid is in the movie, and he's actually really good in the movie. Also, that movie does not take place at a summer camp.
Whenever you mention John Carl Buechler, all I think of is Carnosaur.
It's genius.
I mean, Alien meets dinosaur movie, yeah, it's something. If you want to hear my thoughts on Carnosaur, go check out that episode of the Culture Cast. That one is in the Wayback Machine, and we actually talk with Raphael Sbarge, who was in the film, about being in the film.
I love him.
Raphael Sbarge is great. Until then, until Friday the 13th, Part 5, a.k.a. A New Beginnings, a.k.a. Jason Goes for Euros. Where can people find you, Father Malone?
You can always find me on my YouTube channel, OughtFive Films. I have a show called You've Never Seen, and you can hear me on 2 other podcasts. You can hear me on Chronicles from the Crypt, about Tales from the Crypt, the HBO series. You can also hear me on Dreams for Sale, the Twilight Zone 1985, which is about the Twilight Zone reboot from 1985.
Shocking. What a bizarre title for a podcast, to be about the Twilight Zone 1985.
People are dumb.
Oh boy. And when I'm not here on the Culturecast, you can find me over at the Kolchak Tapes, where I talk about a little show called Kolchak the Night Stalker with my good friend Mike White. That's over at kolchaktapes.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm on Twitter at casualty_Chris. You can follow the Culturecast on Twitter at Culturecast. Big thanks as always to you, Father Malone, for joining me on the Culturecast to talk about a movie that is, it was a movie. We watched it.
Yeah, it's all right. Not the worst, not the best.
And big thanks to 91 Nova for the intro-outro music of the Culturecast. And we'll see you on the next Culturecast.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.